There are four gentlemen who represent three municipalities in southeast Pennsylvania who have not just stuck the municipalities have not just tipped their toe in the water, but they've actually started to put their feet in the water of pursuing a mechanism for establishing some sort of stormwater fee. Our last speaker is Casey Lalonde, who is the manager for West Goshen Township. West Goshen has a little different twist. In addition to having to establish a fee, they're going to have to establish a municipal authority to establish the fee. So they get that extra added fun. Thanks, Casey.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'll make this brief. I'm going to look more at, well, I'm just going to give you some brief township demographics and history, and then I'm going to go into more boots on the ground political aspects of establishing a stormwater fee that we have experienced over the past year or so. West Goshen has about 22,000 residents. We grow a little bit. We're 12 square miles, and we're mostly built out except for about a 1 square mile kind of block in the center of the township, but that is destined for a 600-unit housing development. So we are going to be built out within the next 7 years or so. We're the second largest Chester County municipality, right behind Tredyffrin. We have about 6,400 single-family homes, plus normal apartments and condos, et cetera. About $1.8 billion in assessed property value. 35% of our land area is tax exempt, going back to Obi and Steve's comments as well. Our property rate for the township is 2 mills, which generates about $3.6 million. So again, not just to foreshadow, the board did not want to go the tax route for obvious reasons. Our current conditions of our stormwater system, we have about 33,000 linear feet of stormwater pipe. There's lots of legacy galvanized pipe that's just wearing out. We have about 1,700 stormwater inlets, 192 street lane miles, about 96 miles of road. Our annual stormwater expenditures, pretty much ever since the MS4 program has been in effect, have been about $50,000 a year. Obviously not enough to do any projects. For example, we just had a 175-foot section of galvanized pipe fail about a year or two ago. We paid $108,000 to fix it. So in one of our neighborhoods, so you can obviously see the infrastructure's in need. We have no dedicated stormwater system employees currently. We have no current street sweeping program in effect. Oops, sorry. We have 2 TMDLs in West Goshen. Brandywine Creek, we have sediment, and Goose Creek, which we then dump into the borough, is phosphorus. We have about the same 54% reduction that's needed for phosphorus in Goose Creek. We have just completed our 2 TMDL strategy plans, which we're going to submit to DEP hopefully early November. Our comment period is up October 23rd. Okay, that's the 8th time today. Could you please? Sorry. We have TMDL control plans. Thank you. We have 2 TMDL control plans, again, one for Brandywine Creek, one for Goose Creek. We have worked with HRG out of Harrisburg to both work on our authority and to work on our TMDL plans. The TMDL plans have one's 15 years, one is a 20-year implementation. For those plans alone to meet our TMDLs, just our TMDLs, we're looking at about $4 million over that time period. Mix of bioretention, et cetera. Street sweeping, we don't have a sweeper now, we have to buy one. Lots of basin retrofits, stream bank restoration projects for both plans. Projected TMDL facilities costs. Our annual projected both routine maintenance, repairs, and TMDL stormwater maintenance system costs look to be about $1 million a year, kind of in line with the borough and Radnor. We want to hire a dedicated street sweeping crew and stormwater maintenance employees who will work inside our public works department. And projects and routine maintenance will commence immediately upon our MS4 TMDL permit issuance or sooner, if we can get some help from Jennifer at DEP. We went through the same stakeholder strategy as the borough and Radnor. Township staff and HRG, again, created a stakeholder group with 12 members, HOAs, large landowners, commercial, industrial, education leaders. We have Westchester University. We have 5 or 6 Westchester School District schools in our township alone. We have one large landowner that has 1.5 million square feet of impervious coverage. So we have lots of big landowners. And the stakeholders we're currently in the stakeholder process right now. They provided a good sounding board for projects and to come up with the overall level of service that we need to, that we want to achieve. Our funding strategy from the get-go with our elected officials, our 5 Board of Supervisors, was to establish an authority fee. As soon as the 2012 legislation was passed, that was our go-ahead to establish it. We are a second-class township. We're not home rule like the Westchester and Radnor. We don't have the authority to just set a fee. So we had to go the authority route. We plan on assessing a quarterly stormwater fee, just as they will. Our single-family homes will be based on a flat fee. We haven't come up with the exact number yet, but then commercial and industrial properties will be based on total impervious coverage. Again, kind of the EDU idea that Steve uses. And again, our stakeholder process is underway to get those fees established. One thing we haven't mentioned today is House Bill 1325, which would give all of us the authority to skip the authority route and set a fee, just like a trash fee. We're pushing from a township level to get that done. I've already spent, just to enact our authority legislation alone, we've spent 14 grand just on advertising, et cetera, which we could kind of get rid of with HB 1325. Okay, the political process. Our 5 elected officials have been involved in this process from the very beginning. What didn't come from the staff pushing it, the elected officials are right there with us getting this going. The elected officials completely supported the stakeholder program as well, but kind of maintained a distance so we could get a non-political stormwater stakeholder system and everything analyzed correctly without political influence, if you know what I mean. And due to everybody's DEP permit delay and now the TMDL implementation study process, our elected officials have decided to delay the authority implementation and any fees because we just don't want to go out and buy a sweeper, start a program without those items being specifically approved by DEP. They don't want to go out and step off the ledge. Obviously, for street sweeper costs $250,000 plus 1.5 people to run it. We're not doing it. Not until we have our permit, or at least we get some clear guidance as to what's going on. And we just did not want to move ahead until we got some clear guidance. And we are holding pat until we at least get some go-ahead on the TMDL plans that we're just about to submit. At least we'll have some guidance that way. We certainly don't want to wait till 2018 to start because we'd like to get some funding in place so we can, right out of the gate, start projects and start sweeping our streets. Similar to Obi and Steve, our elected officials wanted to spread the costs across all property owners. Everybody contributes to stormwater. So they didn't want to just go the tax route and do it that way. And the authority process allows for all property owners to be assessed these fees. And our elected officials did not, they wanted a very clear, transparent process, and everybody pays their fair share of the stormwater system. And a tax increase, as we've heard, is not an efficient way to raise funds. To fund our program, we would have to raise taxes by $1 million. We're only at 2, we'd go to 3. That's a massive tax increase in the newspaper. We don't want to see that. 33% rise, whatever. We don't want to see that. So we did not, the elected officials and staff definitely wanted to go the fee route and authority route. There was also some trepidation with our elected officials with transferring power. We have daily say over what happens, transferring that authority jurisdiction to a brand new stormwater authority. So we're working out some issues with that as well. In conclusion, our elected officials have been just complete in support of this overall process. They did definitely desire a transparent program, and we are pushing even from our little township level for HB 1325 in lieu of a tax increase. Now, obviously, with the budget impasse, there's nothing going on at Harrisburg except negotiations for that. So as soon as hopefully that'll get rectified, more business will come down, including 1325. And my elected officials are ready to fund our TMDL and MS4 permit-related costs in an instant, as long as we have clear indication from DEP. And again, that transfer to power issue between our Board of Supervisors and our Stormwater Authority can be mitigated by a well-crafted management agreement between our township and the authority once it's set up. That's it for me. Good.
Two questions, if I may. How did you initially broach this subject with your board? In other words, one day they've never heard of this. How did you get to the point where you are now, where they've obviously allocated funds for you to do studies? How did you go about starting?
I've been here for 8 years at West Goshen. We have an on-staff township engineer, which is incredible to have. We keep our board, and we have kept our board up to date with all the ever-changing regulations from DEP and EPA through Clean Water Act since the MS4 program started, early 2000s. Even with changes in the board over the years, we've kept our board up to date, educated on the issues. There was no moment in time when they got it. They've gotten it pretty much since. We have spent probably more than most of our neighbors on stormwater, and I think we're a little bit more proactive. One of our elected officials is on a PSATS group, stormwater group, and when he comes back from those meetings, he's surprised how little the other elected officials know throughout the Commonwealth. And it's true, because the Southeast and Pittsburgh and out west, we've been under this gun for 10, 15 years. So, but in West Goshen, we've kept our people up to date, up to speed, educated.
You sort of put out your brand to the public. Like, I saw somebody said they had an example, like their back truck and their street sweeper had on the side, like, your stormwater fee at work and stuff like that. So how do you guys go about telling the public, like, here's what we're doing with your stormwater fee money?
Just one thing that we're planning on, and I don't remember who came up with it, but it's a great idea. New Jersey and New York, on their sections of interstate, your road dollars at work. Any place that we can obviously safely set up a sign, if we're doing a basin that's near a street, we're going to put up a sign. Your pollution control dollars at work. Just to highlight projects, and then of course in our newsletter, website, board updates as well. But just to give a neighborhood alert, people passing by, that we're actually using the money for what it was for and destined to.